Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Dyro here with another Options in Play video update. So we had kind of like a mixed open today. There were some commodity stocks that really ripped early, and even though like the indices were relatively flat, you did see some stocks move pretty quickly out of the gate. One of those was Deere. And unfortunately for us, it was something that we were looking to actually get involved with on the bull side today. So, meaning this morning. You can see, I mean, just how fast and how quick this move played out. By 15 minutes, by 15 minutes into the session, the stock had already moved like 7 to 8 points higher. Very, very sharp, straight up type move. And usually, like 15 minutes is kind of like the window where I try to let options in the stock, well, options specifically, fill out before entering swing positions because off the open, I mean, there's oftentimes like the bid ask spreads can be kind of wide. Liquidity is not great, and then after like 5, 10, 15 minutes, the books start to fill out, the volume starts to pick up, and then it can be better opportunity to like initiate those swing trades when you're not paying these ridiculous bid ask spreads, right? So unfortunately for Deere, I mean the stock had already had a big move, and my rule of thumb is if a trade hits the initial target, so I have initial target for every trade, and if the stock hits the initial target before I can even open the options, then that's the point where I need to walk away, because that means that what I was looking for in the trade has already happened, and then if I initiated a new trade or moved up my contracts, that means to me I'd be chasing. All right, so my rule of thumb is if it hits the initial target before I can get involved, then that's the point where I need to really step back and say, okay, trade happened. I wasn't in it. It's frustrating, but those things happen, and there'll be other opportunities. But what I don't want to do is chase the setup, right? Put myself in a bad position by chasing something that already moved or paying for expensive options that already moved, and then have to like dig myself out of a hole. So um, my you know my 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 plan typically is if I miss something, I'll keep watching it, and if the setup kind of comes back into play in like later that day or maybe like the next day, right? So something that's like close to like when I was looking at it, then maybe I'll revisit. But you also have to like weigh like the cost of of the options versus what the setup is, right? Because if Deere were to like retrace all the way back to 370 now, instead of like a quick breakout setup, that would look almost like a breakout failure, right? So it even though like the stock may come back down to 370, you could say, oh, I can get back in at the exact same price that I originally wanted to. Well, now is the setup still the same? Well, it's going to look a little bit different, right? So you really need to like weigh like the setups after the stock has already made the move. And just because it comes back to where your entrance level may have been, you still want to evaluate the trade on its own and say like, oh, okay, is this something I still want, even if it's at the original price I wanted. Okay, so just food for thought. I mean, it was one of the names I was looking at right off the open, and I mean, it just rocketed so quick, so sharply that it just was one of the stocks we just had to walk away from. Okay, so I'm expecting the next couple of days to be really busy. I think the next straight through Friday morning and Powell's speech at Jackson Hole, I think is just going to be a busy stretch here with a lot of big earnings and some economic news. So I think we're going to have like a really busy conclusion to the week. All right. Um, so if you like this video and you're looking for more information on swing trading with options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options to play. Have a great night, stay well, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.